Hi everyone, this is Ishvi Mishra from Ukiyoto Publishing, and as part of Author Live, today I'm in conversation with Kavya Jaiswal, and we're going to talk about her book, Waking Up in the Eye of the Storm. So, hi Kavya, thank you so much for joining me today. Would you like to introduce yourself and your book to the audience, please?
Hello, Isvi, and hello, everybody. I'm Kavya Jaiswal. I'm a quantum healing hypnosis therapist, a psychic, a medium, a tarot consultant, spiritual consultant, coach, and advisor. And by passion, I'm an author. Now, let me tell you a little bit about how I got this book. It may not be a widely known fact to what automatic writing is, but I have received my book, Waking Up in the Eye of the Storm, through this modality called automatic writing.
Hmm.
Now, automatic writing is a modality where you allow yourself to become a vessel and higher energies like your spirit guides, angels, ascended master, or any other higher entity can come close to you, use you as a vessel, and channel information that's not known to you. So you're, in a way, putting your conscious mind aside and allowing the higher energies to channel the information through you which you've never been exposed to or may have slight exposure to but do not remember consciously. So this is how I have been able to download this book.
Right. I love the term download that you use because I was reading your book and you mentioned, allowing yourself to, be impartial and just letting the higher energies from the spiritual realm, write these things through you. So, I just want to get a bit into just, the history, your history with automatic writing, and we'll get into like, the whole discussion about automatic writing and how people perceive all of that. But could you give us a bit of history?
So when I was in boarding school, I have not known much about automatic writing. Frankly speaking, this term is very new to our culture and community.
Hmm.
We may be calling this, flair for writing, or that you write very fluidly, but not give it a term like automatic writing.
Hmm.
So when I was in boarding school in Dehradun, and we'd be given assignments to write, off and on there would be small and big assignments. Sometimes the class teachers or the teachers, subject teachers would be absent, and the teacher, the who would be coming in to take that class, they'd give us assignments to write.
Hmm.
And in one such remark, I got that she has a flair for writing, whereas I don't even remember what the topic was, how I started writing on that, and how I could fill pages on pages where other my classmates were struggling to, maybe even write one page.
Right.
And that was the time I realized that messages do flow through me, and but I don't know how. One other thing I realized while I was still in the boarding school was that when I'm in this calm and relaxed state of mind, that time I didn't know that there is a different brainwave state named to this.
Hmm.
It's called the theta state. When
Hmm.
I'm in the theta state and I'm still aware of my surroundings, I'm able to channel these messages.
Hmm.
Now, in those days, being just a teenager and focused on studies, I did not know where I was going and what I was doing. So all the time, the messages that I would get would be related to what I should be studying, what I should be writing, and that really went on and developed into creative writing.
Okay.
And from there, I realized that every time I wanted to vent my feelings or I wanted to express myself better,
Hmm.
writing was the tool for me.
Right.
So I had filled many a diaries with what was going on in my life, how I was feeling, and everything that was taking place around me. It
Hmm.
was much later that I went back to those diaries to realize that a lot of wishes that I had written there, they had manifested. A
Hmm.
lot of things that I had experienced or felt, they were actually a part of my life now.
Okay.
So, in a way, I realized that I had been made this vessel to channel information for myself in those days. And
Hmm.
I'm talking years ago. So, if
Hmm.
I could do it then, how could I develop it further
Hmm.
to, excel at this and teach it too? So then
Right.
I started asking spirit how to develop this in myself further, how I could become more a clearer vessel to channel this
Hmm.
guidance they're bringing to me,
Right.
and how to put myself, my conscious mind, out of the way. So in 2020 I started teaching my course Automatic Writing
Hmm.
Simplified, which was, again, the contents were given to me from the spirit side, and they were the ones who told me you should go out and teach. I said, I don't know how to do that because everything is online these days. We don't get to interact with people.
Right.
And they said, you just announce, we got your back.
Hmm.
And when I did that, a good number of students kept on approaching me, and there were batches on batches I was taking for automatic writing.
Hmm.
And then one fine day, they said, it's time you write.
Hmm.
So I still did not get my self around to writing a book. I didn't know I was supposed to write a book. I thought they said you've got to write, and I've already been doing that.
Hmm.
So I kept procrastinating. I kept postponing the assignments.
Hmm.
But in the month of January 2021, they sent somebody for a psychic reading to me, and they impressed it on her to learn automatic writing from me.
Hmm.
So it was the student who told me in one of her writing sessions that they want me to write a book.
Hmm.
Why am I not writing? And I kind of gave her a side glance, and I said, "Who do you mean by they?"
Hmm.
And she said, the gods want you to write with them. Why are you not writing? And I had that skeptical feeling, but then I knew I could trust her because she's this very innocent person who's not known me, just came to me for one session and then started writing very fluidly in her own practice.
Right.
So when I sat down to write for my book, every single day I would get messages from one master or another,
Hmm.
and there were even times when I would be walking on my terrace or maybe outside,
Hmm.
and they told me, go write. It's time to write. So I'd have to leave whatever I'd be doing and sit out with a pen and paper
Hmm.
to download that information, which is why I use the term download, because that message
Right.
was already there. I even
Right.
knew the entity's name because it would give me that.
Hmm.
And then I'd sit down with the pen and paper to take it down in an organized way.
Hmm. Okay. I think this topic itself is quite interesting because you talk a lot about divine intervention, but you also talk about your own control when you're writing, in the way that you did make a book out of, you did edit the whole book and to to be published. So like we'll definitely get into the things you've written in the book itself, but how did the title came to be?
So initially, when I had completed the book, I thought, this is it. I have everything I need. I
Hmm.
just need to go and approach a publisher. But when
Right.
I sat down to read that information, I had initially got everything through handwritten messages. I
Hmm.
could not send it out like that. Now it took me months to type those out. So
Hmm.
while I was in the process of typing out those messages, I saw that the messages are really vast, run into several topics under several heads, and they cannot be sent out randomly. So at first, I had called this book Notes from God because there's this flow in the messages, you'll notice, that feels as if these messages are coming from within. It
Hmm.
doesn't seem as if somebody from outside is commanding you. It's as if
Right.
somebody is having a conversation with you.
Right.
So, in that time when I started segregating the messages, it took me a couple of months more to organize this into a book. It didn't originally come in the form of a book. So, and then when I realized the messages are extending to almost every area of life, every facet of our life, then I thought it would be a good idea to divide it into three parts.
Hmm.
And of course, I have to say that along the way, when I have felt that there is need for guidance regarding the book, I need to know how I need to proceed any further.
Hmm.
They have sent me more people in the form of my students, other people who have just randomly appeared and given me their side of the message without knowing any context to what I was looking for at that point in the form of guidance from them.
Mhm.
So yes, initially I did call this book Notes from God, but it didn't do justice.
Mhm.
And then one morning when I woke up, I was in that sleep awake state. When we're just awake, that is the theta state of the mind, that's of the brain.
Mhm.
So we're very close to the spirit world. The veil between our world and theirs is very thin. So in that moment, I heard the word in the eye of the storm, in the phrase in the eye of the storm. And then I felt like there is something missing. I needed to prefix something or suffix something to make it feel complete.
Mhm.
And then the word came to me, wake up, wake up. And then I added waking up in the eye of the storm, which felt more appropriate when I went through its contents and the index, and it felt like a suitable title to me.
Hmm. Right. I do feel like the title really encapsulates the messages or just everything that the book wants the readers to take away, from the messages itself. So you mentioned that you've divided the book into three parts. So at this point of the conversation, can we get a bit into what those each of those parts entail?
Sure. So I realized that when the messages had come and I was reading them, they were all over the place in the sense that if somebody sat down with this book, they would not know what is the head or the tail of it.
Right.
So I felt more appropriate to segregate in three parts where people would know, learn more about their emotions, more about relationships, more about consciousness, more about their soul, its
Mhm.
abilities, the life purpose. Because I have felt that through my practice,
Mhm.
every time I'm connecting with somebody who's so engrossed in their emotions that their life is almost topsy-turvy, and
Right.
it is only those handful of people who have understood what emotions are doing to them in their life and to the relationships around them, that those people have learned to handle their lives better. So it was definitely a more convincing idea to me to talk about the emotional aspect, the self,
Mhm.
and to address that self that keeps us stuck in the emotions all the time. Address that, talk about all the pressing questions we have in our minds, since maybe we become more aware of who we are, or become more aware of life here.
Right.
Then, after we have addressed those, it would be a good idea to go to the next part here in the book that talks about the preparation.
Right.
Now, preparation, the head that I gave it, preparation, felt like I am preparing them, rather, the higher beings are preparing the reader to approach the third part of the book, which
Right.
is something that you do not fathom or think about in your conscious state of being. You never think about the future of Earth. You may be thinking about what's your future, but are you even aware that every time you are thinking of a probable future for yourself, you're consciously or unconsciously contributing
Mhm.
to the macro level consciousness, and that is responsible for creating a future for Earth.
Mhm.
So I thought it would be a good idea at this stage to talk to people about things that they have already put out of the way, but now want to seek more light on. Now they want to learn more about. So
Mhm.
here the topic that I have covered talk about life, self-growth in the phase of ascension,
Mhm.
relationships, prime duty, importance of human life, love, progression of thoughts, identifying oneself, moksha, karma, and
Right.
all these topics in this genre.
Right.
But when we come to the third part of the book, the third part of the book is a more futuristic, I would say. Why I say it's futuristic is because we all have this faint idea about where we are heading. When it comes to technology, when it comes to our abilities, psychic abilities here on Earth.
Right.
But are we completely in sync with where we are headed? And is that aligned with our present?
Mhm.
Are we taking actions? Are we carrying out our duties, our life in a way, in a responsible way that is going to give shape to the future that I talk of here in the book?
Right.
And this is not the future that I am shaping up. This is the future all of us are shaping up collectively through
Right.
the power of our mind, through the power of our thoughts. So
Mhm.
these things have been covered in the first two parts of the book,
Mhm.
and which is leading to the third part of the book. Now,
Right.
if I come to the third part of the book, it talks about New Earth.
Mhm.
And New Earth is a place not distinct from the physical geography that you're a part of now,
Mhm.
but it's a different dimension altogether. So
Mhm.
if I talk about dimensions, imagine you are living in a house and there are many rooms. If you're
Right.
sitting in your living room and you want to see somebody what they're doing in their bedroom, you will not be able to because there's a wall separating you. So
Right.
this is how a dimension is.
Mhm.
Imagine the entire house to be an earth,
Mhm.
and you're in one dimension, which is the living room, the other is the bedroom. So
Mhm.
this is progression from the living room to the bedroom or maybe any other room in that house, but
Mhm.
that is an upgrade. Take it as an upgrade. How
Right.
is this upgrade coming to us? By honing our psychic abilities. So when I say that this book has been received or was pressed onto me to be written in the phase of ascension. Ascension is the progression of Earth from one dimension to another. Now, this is not going to happen in a few days or a few months' time. This is going to take a few years. But then, is everybody ready for that at the same time? I believe not. And this is where the importance of the book is. So, I feel the book is going to talk to you more closely when you are trying to walk out of your personal space and
Mhm.
trying to learn about the life in general, about this expanded view of life and consciousness
Right.
and beyond life beyond Earth. And after you've crossed the first two parts of the book, that is when you're ready to read the third part
Mhm.
because now you already put your ifs and buts away from you, out of the way. That could
Right.
probably stop you in your way from learning about what's coming towards you. So this is how the book has been divided, keeping in mind. So it's meant to raise your consciousness bit by bit, giving you a little something at every stage, so that you don't go hungry, you're not starving. And
Mhm.
when once you're satiated at that aspect, mainly the emotional, psychological parts, then you want to learn more about what's coming towards you and something that's not emanating from you. You
Right.
know, if I elaborate on this a little bit, somebody who's always focused on, the materialistic aspects of life or the basic needs of life, food, shelter, clothing, they would not want to rise spiritually. Not
Mhm.
that they can't, but it is their basic needs that would take up most of their time
Right.
and keep them engrossed in, accumulating the material aspects, material
Right.
growth for themselves. Only once you are materialistically satisfied that you would want to take up the higher abilities, you would want to learn about the higher abilities and the invisible powers. So
Mhm.
this is where the third part is going to help you accept what is not so obvious and visible to the eyes and to you.
Right. I think that was beautifully explained, Kavya. And what I'm hearing from, how you talk about your book is how important it is to keep an open mind, right? Because just like picking up your book, I feel like you must have also encountered this. People might have some preconceived notions, some misconceptions that they want to hold on to, when they're trying to read your book because. Um, Ultimately a big part of your book deals with philosophy that we already read, like these things, things about karma and moksha, philosophical terms like these we've encountered before in Bhagavad Gita or in the philosophy of Buddhism. So how do you tackle with that? How do you tackle with people keeping a closed mind before they even pick up your book?
One important thing here to point out would be that everybody is a vibration. You, I, this a gadget here,
Hmm.
and everybody watching, everybody is a vibration, and we're all vibrations and frequencies.
Hmm.
So, even if we like to address ourselves in the flesh and blood that we see ourselves in the mirror, of we're not all that. So, when this book came together, this has collectively become a vibration.
Hmm.
This has become a vibration. So this will, I believe, not land in the hands of somebody who's not ready to accept that. It will only go to people who are ready to explore the
Hmm.
things or the sides of life, the aspects of life they have not known about but are open to learning about.
Right.
One. Second, the book does not impose information, does not force anybody to accept what is written here. It
Hmm.
is, like I have written in the introduction, it has been given to me and received by me with an open heart. So if you
Right.
have an open heart, you will be open to the messages given here. If you feel you're not ready, I feel like it will take you some time to wrap your head around those messages and maybe come back to those later, or
Hmm.
maybe read some other message that's meant for you and it's there in the book,
Right.
and then that makes the other message make sense for you. But so far, actually, I have not come across people who have a very closed mind to what the messages speak here
Right.
or convey here. That is because I feel like the messages preceding a few topics like moksha and karma
Hmm.
have been an eye opener where the beings who have written they kind of drill their information, their energy into your heart, and it feels as if it's really speaking to you, it's making sense to you. That is
Right.
where your heart opens up and you're becoming more receptive to the messages they're giving here.
Right. Right. Okay. And also, when you're talking about the fact that, you need, people who approach your book with an open heart will be able to, kind of be kind to the messages that's overflowing from your book. So, what do you think is the future of, automatic writing? And also, like in general, what do you think? How do you think, like, people will receive these messages in the future, or just this genre of writing? How do you think, like, India as a country, how ready they are for this?
So I think it is just the name that come across as a woo-woo subject, but this is not new. Dr. Wayne Dyer had been doing this. A
Hmm.
lot of other well-known authors have got their book through automatic writing. It's just that they've not been aware that there is a term for this.
Right.
And usually when you say that you are in that flow,
Hmm.
you get the messages. It could doesn't have to be called automatic writing, but when you're writing any piece of writing, it could be anything. You feel there is a flow to writing, and sometimes there is this writer's block.
Right.
So in that moment, there the flow is not there, and I feel like in future this is going to happen, or this is going to be done by almost everybody, because the way our psychic abilities are increasing, expanding, they're being returned to us, I would say, Svi, because for many generations we our psychic abilities had been shut down
Right.
or closed off because of the other ways in which we had to develop as human beings. But now, because Earth is ascending, we have also got this opportunity of raising our vibrations
Right.
and expanding our psychic horizons. So I feel like almost everybody is going to do automatic writing, even if they're not calling it automatic writing. They may be using it in one way or another,
Hmm. Right.
especially if they like to write. Now, there are many ways we use our psychic ability. Some people are clairvoyants, some people are clairaudient, some people are clairsentient, claircognizant, many ways.
Hmm.
But those who write, I feel like they're going to now understand the concept of automatic writing better,
Hmm.
because there have been many popular authors who have previously done their books through they've got their books through automatic writing. In fact, if I talk to you about J.K. Rowling, there's this interesting story about her, that she got her first Harry Potter book while she was traveling on a train, and it
Hmm.
felt as if there was a huge download of information in her head. And when she sat down with a paper and a pen, her diary and a pen, the information story just flowed out of her as if it has already been there.
Right.
So this is also one way of writing automatically, but it's known by different concepts, like different names like inspired writing, psychography,
Right.
and that way.
I think that's very interesting, Kavya. And personally, I'm very interested to see your future with automatic writing. And because you talk about all these popular writers who have written these books, and while I was reading your book, I also felt this. I felt like what I was reading was not disjointed. It was something that was very easy to me. Coming something that was very easy for me to pick up, something for very easy to maybe not accept, but to approach in a way. So I am very impressed by the way you kind of handle these things, and how you're able to make a book out of it. So what's in the future for you? Is it automatic writing? Is it just writing in general? Can you talk a bit about that?
So I do not like to stick to just one role in life. Ever since I've understood that this is what I'm supposed to work as, there have just been more learning
Hmm.
and then teaching. So I
Right.
wouldn't say that this is it for me. Um, how I'll take it how it comes,
Okay.
and from being just a girl round the corner to become a psychic, and then to becoming a medium, then to becoming a quantum healing hypnosis therapist, to an author, to a spiritual advisor, consultant, coach. I think this life just keeps surprising me with more and more learning. Every time I learn something, I am guided to go out and teach that.
Hmm.
And the best thing about teaching is you learn something better once you start teaching that, or
Right.
you invite that better in yourself. So I don't think this is it for me, and in fact it shouldn't be it for anybody. There's this path of growth that lies ahead of us in every moment, and we always have a choice.
Mhm.
So I feel I'll continue to do this for as long as I'm supposed to, and as far as I'm supposed to, along with the other things that I have been doing, and much more. I keep my options open.
I definitely love that, and I genuinely love how you talk about being guided to learn and then pass that on as you teach. Because in just this half an hour conversation, I have been able to learn so many new things. I've been able to approach a lot of things that you're talking about with an open mind, wanting to give more things around me in the world a try, which I personally didn't feel that something meant for me. So I suppose that the audience that's watching this with us, I'm sure they were also able to receive your message in that way. And so thank you so much, Kavya, for joining me today. And I hope to see you soon again with another book, as and when it comes.
Thank you so much for having me, Sri, and it was lovely talking to you. And thank you, everybody else, for watching me here. I hope I am able to bring more guidance and knowledge to you all.
I
Thank
hope
you.
so as well, and I really hope that our audience is able to pick up Kavya's book and read it. I'll put a link for it in the description box. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today, and thank you so much, Kavya. And this is where I'll end the session today. Thank you so much. Bye, Kavya.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.